And I am so glad, truly glad, in these days of intensifying brutality and mounting disappointment, to be welcoming you to a night of performances from two artists I really admire very deeply, Tsohil Bhatia and Creighton Baxter. Woo! Yes, 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 yes. I encourage you to head to the internet for their illustrious bios. I'm just gonna say some words and then talk us through sort of how tonight's gonna go and then hand things over. Bhatia and Baxter both work with representation and language and yet take sign systems to their edge where meaning becomes matter and signification becomes force. They make work that both articulates and disturbs the everyday meanwhile of coloniality and misogyny, troubling what it means to take in and spew out, to introject or project what constitutes an inside and an outside. We'll experience Bhatia's work first. In fact, we already are. And then we'll take a short break and probably like a fast cigarette, like if you stay focused on smoking and like deep breaths, but not longer than that. So stay close, come back. And then we'll turn it over to Baxter. And the whole night should probably just be 75 minutes or so, just so you set expectations. And then bathrooms are upstairs if anybody needs them. And please also come back. We have an event tomorrow night here at the Poetry Project. Artist Jeremy Toussaint Baptiste and art historian Rachel Hines are going to be in conversation around sort of the category of art criticism, politics of art criticism. And then on Monday, we're celebrating Miss Major's book out from Verso Press. She'll be here with us, along with her co-author, Toshio, and then also Morgan Basakis and Una Osato will be joining for a conversation on Monday night. So I think a lot of critical nourishment in store over the next couple days here at the Poetry Project. And that's it. Feel free, after to stay a little bit. We'll be packing up chairs, but we'll be here and we can sort of linger. Thank you so much for being here.
This is what my home smells like on a Sunday afternoon around 2 p.m. I think of this smell often. I miss home. I miss my mother. But this is the kind of missing that has an antidote. I'm actually preparing for the kind of missing that doesn't end. So I chop onions and garlic and chilies and only wash my hands with water. I smell of spice very often. I smell of my mother. I like the little burn on my fingers that might make it to my eyes. I don't cry very often, but that will do it. That lingering residue on my fingers enters my body when I pick my skin, when I bite my nails, when I pull something out of my teeth. I call my mother to ask her for the same recipe over and over. I refuse to write them down, but I re-perform them over and over. I re-perform all the women that came before her. The kitchen is a space for love. I incessantly push my kin to eat more, just a little more, one more roti, another big spoon of rice. Just finish the last bit in the pot. One little more bowl of dal, a little more butter, some salad, achar, roti, raita. My mother is a fire worker, and fire is her language of love. My mother is fire, and fire is my mother tongue, my inheritance. I must become her, I must become her, I must become her, to repeat her form forever. I must become her, for to keep a fire alive, you keep a fire burning. Hi everyone, I'm Tsohil. I'm gonna walk you through some of the new work that I've been making. I've had the last few years of not having a studio practice, but but then looking back and realizing that I was actually making a lot of work in the kitchen. We ate it all. There was nothing to look back at. There were some photographs that made it to Instagram, some in the archives. The work on screen right now is untitled Dough 1. It was a piece that was performed in my bedroom, where I make dough that is the size of my body, which is 147 pounds. This is untitled Dough 2. This was performed the next day. When the dough has fermented ever so slightly, it's stickier, it's spreading, it's becoming heavier because it's now carrying air inside it. This was a movement piece where I really, for most of it, tried to carry the dough, tried to hold it, tried to pick up the dead weight of my body. This work comes from those other two works. It's titled Untitled Rano. Rano is a family elder. She's my grandfather's sister, but we always called her. She was the grandmother. You know. I have a memory of her lying on a charpai outside in the veranda, just resting. Even when I was very young, she was very old. This work kind of became a memorial for her. I wanted to re-perform that work. I just wanted to be on a daybed. And then I decided to actually have my surrogate body, the dough, rest there out in the open, exposed to the conditions, the weather conditions, and squirrels, raccoons, everything that wanted to have a little bite of me. This is not the first time I'm making work thinking about a family elder or the women in my family. I love them. I think I make all of my work about them. This particular work is called The Length of Daylight 3. This was a series of performances that I was doing every autumnal equinox. And every time, the thing that I had set up for myself was I was going to do this one thing and one instruction for myself from sunrise to sunset. And it would create some sort of measure. This work was performed soon after my paternal grandmother's passing, and it immediately transformed into a sort of morning work. She had a practice of writing the name of God in these gridded notebooks where she would write them over and over again. The days that she was not writing it, it kind of became a thing in the room, but what's going on? She's not doing well. The day she passed, she did not touch the notebook. She tried. Everyone tried to keep making her hold the pen, be like, you can do this, you got this. And this performance, I decided to re-perform that action by making dots on a gridded piece of paper. I drew a dot for every breath that I was taking. Soon into the performance, I had to actually switch that process. It's really hard to count your breath from sunrise to sunset. I don't know why I thought it would be, I could do it. The process had to reverse itself, where I only took a breath when I had drawn a dot. So the drawings kind of, from a document, they actually became a score. They informed how I was breathing. It's a series of 14 drawings. They're really tiny. They're the size of her notebooks. I love measuring time in funny ways. Maybe some of that is, being in the kitchen. You can't always know how much time something takes. There are measures, of course, but you have to eyeball it. This is the first of the series of length of daylight drawings. From sunrise to sunset, I drew a straight line on a piece of paper, just graphite on paper, filmed it, made this massive scroll of paper that is usually shown like that. The length of the daylight was measured to be 58,621 inches. I'm going to talk about something that I have been working on very recently. This Fire That Warms You is a show that's on in the city right now, so please go see it. It's at Q Art Foundation. I'm going to share some work and talk about things, how I got there. So this is the fourth dough work at this point, or fourth flour-based work. I've been working with flour a lot. It takes me back to my mother and being in the kitchen and giving me a little ball of dough to play with while she was busy. I think it has become a very important sculptural material to work with for me. This work is 7 trays with flour. Each one has impressions of my mother's hands, so the work cannot travel. It's very site-specific that way. The 7 gestures, I asked her to break down kneading dough into 7 different hand gestures and press those into the flour. This work, Fruits of Passing Remains from Home, is from the last 5 years. I have been drying fruits and vegetables in my house. I mostly work out of my kitchen and my bedroom. There's things usually drying by the window, rotting very often. Some of the objects in here are more than 5 years old. Some of them about a year and a half. They're placed on packed earth, just on the floor. This work has been shown in different ways in the past, but I think this is where it needs to be. It needs to go back to the ground. Another work where I'm thinking of a sort of afterlife of these objects, the passing of these objects. What does it mean to be trash? When do we decide to discard something? Where do we situate ripeness of something? I think having spent time with a lot of these objects over a few years now, this has become their ripeness. This is where they don't change anymore. This work is titled Notes on Resistance. Pressure cookers have a large history of being this dangerous object in the United States. I feel like most people that are moving from India to the US usually have a pressure cooker in their bag. My mother made sure I did. Pressure cookers also, they were never banned, but they were really restricted in the United States for a long time because Al-Qaeda had published a pamphlet which had instructions on how to make pressure cooker bombs. So the pressure cooker became this really interesting object, something that was so domestic but had this really violent potential. You don't immediately see it, and it is a threatening object. It makes a sound, it makes itself seen, it makes itself heard. I've had many friends around the pressure cooker and be terrified of it. Honestly, I am terrified of it. We got one going. Very close. The work became a way to think about these ways of resistance that are made at home. I've thought about I think of my mother as a fire worker, and I think of everyone that works in the kitchen as a fire worker, and them having a lot of power. They're surrounded by fire and knives. It's a lot. Don't take it for granted. The work here is titled Cacerolazo. Cacerolazo translates to sort of protest where people bring out their pots and pans and take them out to the street. This is a kinetic sculpture. It kind of works like a bell. It is an instrument. It is something that can be played. It has individual components, but you can also shake the entire bell. Another work that was thinking about, kitchen practices, but not demure at all, like not at all that. You're just like out here to set fire to things. When working in the kitchen, I have to attend to, in many ways, the dishes. These three works are three simple fountains. That's what they're also called. That's the title of the work. Three faucets just running water on three different surfaces, making three distinct sounds. They keep on going. They keep on going. We talk about the kitchen work as, we and me talk about kitchen work as care work. We speak about its labor. Not enough. This work became a way to bring the aftermath of the pleasure of the kitchen into the show. This work is titled Latent Tension. I think a lot of the works that I just shared from the show, This Fire That Warms You, kind of carry a latency, which I'm very interested in, from the pots and pans that make this extremely, extremely loud sound, from the pressure cookers that will go off, from the pressure cookers that contain that sort of violence, but they're tamed in a way. This work has a lot of glassware. The one thing that doesn't immediately come across in photographs is that only the shelf at the bottom is attached to the wall. All of the others are stacked on top of each other. So again, you touch this work a little and this entire thing moves. This became one of the most accessible representation of the latency that I was talking about this potential of harm that this maybe beautiful thing can have. The work on here is titled Butcher's Lament. It's just a photograph of me with a freshly butchered goat on something that may look like a hotel bed. Thank you.
Hello. I have some requests, and we have to all be in agreement. And if you betray me, that's on you. But people who've betrayed me in the past have had a hard time. So no one is going to take any pictures, no videos, except for this one. Do we agree? I need a resounding yes. Fab. I have another request. There's only two more, and they're really simple. I need someone to set a timer for 30 minutes. Who can do that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're willing to be a timekeeper. Oh. Wait, keep them up. I'm deciding. I want it to be... I want it to be you. You're so close. Perfect. So you're going to set a timer for 30 minutes, which means that you're going to sit there the whole time. And you're not going to leave. If you have to pee, it's right here, babe. Yeah? Is that set? Let me know when it's time. Wow. Okay, I have one more request, and this one is my personal favorite. So, raise your hand if you think you're willing, and then we'll discuss. Bold, 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 bold. I don't know you, which is great. So I think it's going to be you if you're willing. But you have to come up here and we're going to whisper about it for a second. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And you can back, if you get up here and I'm like this thing and you're like, fuck this, you don't have to do it. Closer.
Okay.
You can still hear me? This wonderful person is going to do this for us, okay? Do that one first. There's no right or wrong.
I see a heart. Somebody looking at the heart. It's like they're longing for love. They're also looking at their feet. They're trying to balance perhaps a strange yoga pose. They have long hair, black eyes. They don't have yeah, it's like their eyes are totally black. It's like they're high. That's definitely a vampire. These fangs. They're in a field. I think it's night. And they're also high, I think, because I can't see their eyes again. And it's a portrait, so it's a very frontal portrait, and it's something you would expect that will look at you, but it's not. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say before this last one? About this one?
I like the strokes for the hair. I see a humanoid creature in a field of cotton because it has these circular balls on top, and there are two celestial bodies in the sky. I think one is the sun and the other is the moon. So I think it's the dawn. Is either it's sun rising or it's setting, but it's during a time where you can see both of them together. And the humanoid creature has a big tongue, and it seems like it wants to catch those cotton balls. And it also can only see cotton balls because its eyes has cotton balls, like the entire plants. But it could also be people. People generally make stick drawings like that. Well, I can go on.
Just until you feel done.
Yeah, I think all three of them have this longing, maybe for blood, cotton balls, and love. Well, thank you.
Everyone say thank you to her.
There's this one like really crunchy, chunky part. It's just really hard to. I'm gonna have to do it in smaller bites. I'm close. How's our timer?
18 minutes and 36 seconds.
Wow. Who are you? John Tucker, that's right.
I'm really impressed.
Yeah.